So let's come into a comfortable shape and you can just close the eyes or soften the gaze. As you land in stillness, take deep breaths in and out. Noticing anything that you can hear around you or feel around you or sense around you. Anything that you can hear or sense or feel around you, let it just bring you closer into the present. Closer into this moment. Setting an intention for what you want to receive from next little bit of time together. And then just open the eyes. Beautiful. So I'm so excited to be sitting here with Christy Tanner. And Christy and I have been connected on social media for like, I don't even know how long, a couple of years. And I've been watching her journey. She's 5 years sober now. And she also just opened a non-alcoholic bottle shop in Wisconsin. I think it's called Sober and Social. Is that correct? Sober and Social.
Sober Social. Yep.
Yeah. And when you open the shop, I was like, man, I just really need to invite her to share her story with us. And so I was wondering if you could just tell us a bit about like your sober journey to start off, like maybe where you were before you got sober and kind of tell us about that.
Sure. Yes. I never planned to be a sober entrepreneur. That was not part of the plan. um, I got sober on July 6th, 2019. It was not, it was not like this would be a good choice for me. It was the end of my rope. I had found my rock bottom. Um, I had at the time 4 children under the age of 5.5, no twins. So I had 3 toddler boys and then a 7-month-old daughter. And I had gone to rehab one time before when I had 3 boys, and I had thought, I'm going to go, I'm going to give it 30 days. I'm going to really commit myself. I'm going to do it this time because I was having, consequences, right? It was like going to the parties and becoming a liability rather than being fun. It was like somebody had to get me home, right? Somebody had to figure out how they were going to get me home. And what happened like I went to rehab the first time, and it was because other people told me I needed to. And so I went, right? I was like, fine, if I'm not allowed to be here, I'll be somewhere else. But the commitment wasn't mine, right? Like I was not committed for myself. I was there because other people wanted me to be there. Other people can want you to be sober as much as they want. You can want to be sober for other people as much as you want. But until you like find that thing inside of you, like why you want to be sober for yourself, it's probably not gonna stick until you find your reason. So I went to this rehab. I came back, I found out I was pregnant, and I could not wait to drink. I could not wait to get this baby out of my body so that I could have my champagne because damn did I deserve it. Right? Like I thought alcohol was something that you like earned, right? It was like if you tried hard enough that day, if I had done a good enough job at being a mom and a wife and tried and fed the kids, and I would give myself like, of course you deserve that. And I found other women, right? Like trying to support me, being like, seeing that I'm struggling, parenting all these little kids, but a lot of women would be like, oh my gosh, you deserve this bottle of wine. People would give me wine, be like, you totally deserve to relax. Um, as drinking does, like it did not get better. It got worse. Um, I got diagnosed in January. So my daughter was like 3 months old with postpartum depression. They put me on meds. Of course, the medicine did not work because I continued drinking. And so I was like, these new meds they aren't helping at all. And now I have these 4 kids. And for the first time, I stayed sober when that happened because I was actually so scared that this was something so big that alcohol couldn't fix it. And that was really the first time I felt like alcohol can't fix this problem. And I made a phone call and I stayed sober for 37 days. And I thought, okay, if I can stay sober for 37 days in a house with this guy who doesn't like me and all these kids, like I probably got it figured out now. Um, and so my ex-husband and I went on a date. He asked me on a date to a concert, and this is something we would have done when we were married, right? This was our favorite artist. He's playing an hour and a half away. My ex-husband really wants to go. He's like, we should go. And he drank. And so did I. And the next week, I got 2 DUIs in the same week. I got one in Wisconsin. I had blacked out. I don't remember what happened, but I was at a friend's house. I blacked out and I got arrested because I was blacked out, pulled over on the side of a street in the middle of Madison for I don't know what reason. I don't know where I was going. Couldn't tell you. And 3 days later, I drank at a party for the last time. And my ex was like, I'm taking the kids away. I don't know. You've got issues. And I did. He was like, but I don't want the kids around you. And so we're leaving. Like, we're all leaving you. And I was like, fine, leave me. And I thought I would just, go celebrate the 4th of July with a friend. So I got in the car and I started driving from Madison, Wisconsin to South Haven, Michigan, which is like 6 hours away. And I had a bottle of wine in the car for my friend. For my friend, I was going to bring it to her. Thank you for having me. I wasn't going to drink it. I just gotten in trouble for drinking. I just got my first DUI. My kid, like everyone knew the secret's out. The neighborhood knows I'm all done drinking. And I'm listening to the Bubble Hour podcast on my phone, on my car. I don't know what happened. I couldn't tell you what happened. I don't know what somebody said, but at some point during that episode, I reached back and I opened that bottle of wine and I drank it on the highway. And I picked up multiple other bottles on the highway that I don't remember buying. And I ended up getting arrested blowing a .24 on the side of Gary, Indiana. And I went to jail in Gary, Indiana. that is not somewhere I ever thought I would be. And I think my drinking for a long time was, um, I just thought I could outrun it. I could outsmart it. I could get knowledge. I would learn myself better. I would learn more about alcohol. I would learn to control it. I had a lot of plans for alcohol to be a part of my life forever. And even after rehab, the first time, I was unwilling to change, unwilling to change. But after I went to jail, I woke up on the fifth floor in this cell with women who have serious addiction problems, still in jail. I was on the fifth floor with people who are there for a long term. And they do that on purpose, right? It's like a scare tactic, and it worked. I was absolutely terrified that I was never going to get out of jail, that I was never going to see my kids again, that I would never, how could anyone trust me with my own children? You know, it's like, oh my God, my whole life is blowing up. So my parents came and bailed me out of jail. My ex-husband wanted nothing to do with me, which is fine. And I stayed sober for 10 days and I went to a 2 month inpatient rehab when my children were 5.5, 4, 2.5, and 7 months old. And I didn't want to go for all the reasons. I didn't want to give up control. I didn't want people to judge me. I didn't want to miss out on things with my kids. I thought fixing things with my husband was the solution. But I went to rehab, and about the first 3 weeks, I think I was trying to be like a good rehab student. You know, kind of like I try and do in everything. I want people to like me. And I was like trying to give the right answers, but I wasn't willing to talk about all of the problems. And one of the main problems was I thought my value as a human being was like based on status, based on who you're around, based on my husband's approval, based on like all these things outside of me that I realize when I get serious, like these are things I didn't care about 20 years ago. And I actually still don't. I care about like people being honest, having integrity, telling the truth, being authentic, like being transparent. And in rehab, they had me do this one assignment. And he said, I want you to write. So I have 3 boys and a girl. I want you to write a letter to your daughter, who is 7 months old. And I want you to write to her the partner that you dream of her to have. How is this partner going to treat her? How does this partner make her feel? How do they support her? Tell me about this person. So I write this letter and I write, Dear Sloan, and I'm all teared up, like reading it to my therapist about all these things that I want for my daughter. And he said, That is so beautiful. Now I need you to reread the letter. And now it says, Dear Christy, and I need you to tell me what things you have in your partner that you dream of for your daughter. And have like it wasn't there. I realized I had, been with somebody who doesn't value me and never did. And I was trying to win somebody's approval. It's not possible. And I kept performing for him, thinking I'm like going to win him over or something. And that's like betraying myself over and over again. Um, so after that first month of rehab, I decided to stay for another month because everyone was like, we're going to probably have to make some plans. Like nobody really thinks you should probably be with your husband. Just really hard to hear. I didn't want to be a single mom, a single, sober, two double DUI driving mom. Like that is not who I thought I wanted to be. But I stayed at rehab for another month and I committed every day to show up for myself so that my kids would get to know me and not like this version of me that I had been. So I stayed for 2 months. I came home. I moved out of my $1 million home into a 1 bedroom apartment. And because I said, I don't think I can stay sober where I was so sick. And I know not everyone has the finances to do that, but I did. And thank God, thank God. So I moved out in October of 2019. We did nesting. We had a full-time nanny. I didn't know what to do with myself when I got home. I had all this time. I was a stay-at-home mom to all these little kids for the last 5 years. And now we have a full-time nanny, and no one trusts me with my children. And I like didn't know what to do with myself. And so, Melanie, when you were talking about like, what do you do like alone? Like, God, I remember that. Like, I'm so sick of being with myself. Um, but eventually, I don't know when it happened. Eventually it got better, but I went to AA every day. I don't anymore. I go occasionally, but I went to AA every day. Um, the pandemic hit the day after I closed on my home. So I closed on my home, thank God. So we had a place to live that was separate from my ex-husband, which is wonderful. But then the pandemic hit and AA room shut down. And I was 8.5 months sober with 4 kids by myself, and nobody would help me like move in a couch. So it was really hard. I cried every single night for 18 months. And like I wish I could be like, it was totally fine. After 3 months, I felt great. That's not true. I know that's true for a lot of people. And there are a lot of things that felt good right away, right? Like my sleep got better really quickly. Um, but I had night sweats for almost 3 years after I stopped drinking. Like my body was so physically addicted to alcohol, and I had no idea. Um, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, that's some of my background. That's some of it. Um, I got sidetracked somewhere, but to help me get back on track, where are we going now?
I just want to say thank you so, so much for being so vulnerable and sharing your story. Like it just, I don't think I've ever heard your story. I think I've heard little snippets of it or seen little snippets on Instagram, but yeah, you've overcome and you've been through a lot. And I always thought you were an amazing person, but to hear like how much you really went through in the time leading up to your sobriety and then in your sober journey and to get to where you are now, like it just it's really inspiring. You're an amazing, amazing woman. Thanks
Thank
for
you.
sharing. Yeah,
Thanks.
yeah, it's huge. Okay,
Yeah.
so and you and I have really similar sober dates also. I think I got sober like would you say July 6th,
Mhm.
2019? Yeah,
Mhm.
I'm April 13th, 2019.
Ooh,
So
I love it.
very close, but I can imagine experiencing the pandemic newly sober as a parent with children at home was probably very different than being a sober single person, I think.
That was for sure the hardest thing, like adjusting from, I mean, like I felt like as the mom of 4 little kids, the majority of the parenting was on me,
Yeah.
but not to have any support or anyone to turn to or anyone to hold a baby when somebody's just broken a glass. Like, you know what I mean? Like there's just like there were things or like there's a dead mouse or like there's just like stuff that now I get to deal with because I've never been a single homeowner either. I've always had roommates or a husband or parents. And now I'm that person. I'm like, want to phone a friend. And it's like, oh shit, like you're the friend. Like you're the homeowner. Like, uh-oh. But yeah, there was a lot of opportunity to not stay sober, easily not stay sober because people were staying home. People were doing Zoom happy hours. People were, who would even know, right? Like when my kids are with their dad and then it's just me in my house, like who would even know? There was a lot of like mental gymnastics going on about like, you know, Lisa, like, is this what I want? Is this the lifestyle I'm really going for? Like, is this something I'm committed to? Is it going to pay off? Like, how would I even know? What I do know is that I miss what I used to know, but what I don't know is like what the future could hold.
Mm.
Right. And I was willing to wait to see what the future would hold because my reality, when I stopped being in it and took a bird's eye view, wasn't what it felt like when I was actually in it. It was a facade. And alcohol let me be a pawn for multiple people, right? Like, here, Christy, we'll just move you this way. And like, oh, don't like how she's acting, pour some more champagne on. And honest to God, it worked every time. If you give me alcohol and then tell me what you want me to do, I'll do it because then I don't have a brain of my own anymore and I don't care. They said that you could read between the lines and I was being, what was the word? Uh, you can't malign somebody. You can't be spitefully critical, even if it's true. Just 6 months ago, he was like, there's word out in the sober community that you're not sober. We're all really worried about you. I'm like, okay. 4 years ago, that would have sent me into a tailspin. I would have been in the hospital with some, you know, rumors like that coming towards me. Um, but like I stayed quiet. I stayed committed to my sobriety. I took care of what I needed to in my own house. Um, and I hit 5 years sober last Saturday. And I opened Wisconsin's first completely non-alcoholic bottle shop. And I think a lot of people are like, what is that? And so what I realized is like when I got sober, a lot of my friendships changed. And some of them needed to change because they weren't real friends, right? They were just drinking buddies. But some of my friends are still my friends and they still drink. And I still love them and we want to be friends. And it's really uncomfortable to go to a party and have the only thing for them to offer you is water. It's uncomfortable for them. It's uncomfortable for me. What do I bring? Do they invite me? Do they not invite me? Do I bring my own thing? Do we talk about it? Do they tell everyone that I'm sober? It's just like a whole thing. So I was like, this is crazy. If I didn't make drinking what was in my glass, like the first thing we talk about, like maybe it wouldn't be such a thing. So I was like, okay, I'm going to go back to Total Wine, which I haven't been to in like 3 years because I don't like liquor stores, and I'm going to see what they have. And so you go to the very back of Total Wine, which is a 5,000 square foot liquor store with free samples everywhere. Would you like a sample of whiskey? I mean, oh my God, this is like an addict's worst nightmare, right? Like to walk through the store and go to the back of the store, and then they're like, oh, the non-alcoholic. Oh, yeah, we might have something over there. Okay, yeah, perfect. There seems to be one bottle of Chardonnay from 1972 or an Eau Duels. And I'm like, God, what is this? Like this is not going to work for me. Like, I don't even want to be in the back of the store. I don't want to come to Total Wine. It's a big and it's ugly and nobody's helping me. And like, I've seen all these fun drinks online. Where are they? Why can't I find them? Where's all this good non-alcoholic stuff? So I joined a class called Sands Bar Academy. Chris Marshall was the first guy to open a sober bar in the US in 2017 in Austin, Texas. And he did a 10-week class. I saw an advertisement on Instagram on New Year's Eve of 2023. And it was like the class is starting in a week and it's $800 and it's a 10-week class and it's all about this space. And I'm like, I've become a certified recovery coach. I tried that for a while. I looked into yoga. I looked into like, what didn't I look into? Like, I was trying to figure out where's my lane? What am I going to do? I probably need to go get a job now that like my daughter's going to kindergarten. It's like, I'm ready for that next chapter. And I was very unclear about what it would or should be. So I took this class, and within 2 weeks of signing up, I was looking for spaces in Madison. And I was like, this is for sure what I'm going to do. Like, for sure, what I'm going to do is create a sober space that is not anonymous. In fact, the opposite of anonymous, because I love AA for a lot of reasons, but I also like don't do the program right, right? Like I don't follow all the things and whatever, and everyone has a different opinion about in that program how you should show up in the world. Guess what? There's nothing anonymous about me. Not one thing. Like you got a question, I got an answer. Like I'm not going to not tell you the truth. So I was like, where where am I going to find my sober friends? Because I know that they exist and I don't know where they are. Because a lot of my AA meetings are 85-year-old, beautiful 85-year-old men who haven't drank for 50 years. And that's wonderful for them. But like, I'm not going to go grab coffee and like chit chat. So I created Sober Social, and it's 677 square feet. It's tiny, but it has hot pink tiger wallpaper in the back. It's got chandeliers. It's got a whole wall front to back of drink options that are non-alcoholic spirit replacements, non-alcoholic wine, non-alcoholic champagne, adaptogenic water, like drinks with lion's mane and reishi mushrooms that relax you, like so many cool options. And when I first thought of this idea, I was like, we live in Wisconsin, which is the number one drinking state per capita in the United States. And that's where I live. And that's where I'm going to open a sober store. And honestly, the the number of people that come in, I mind blown, mind blown. There were 400 people at the opening last week. You guys, I don't even know 400 people. I didn't know 400 people cared about not drinking in Madison, much less that. Then they have friends. They have friends who don't drink also, right? And then they tell their friends. And then all these people, right? It's great that I have products that people love, and that allows people to continue their nightly ritual of having a drink, connecting with friends, and feeling like they're relaxing without any of the alcohol. You love a Cabernet? I got a Cabernet. You love a margarita? We've got 6 of those. Like, it's so great to empower people to choose to socialize without drinking, and then also give sober people a place to come back and celebrate. Like, these sober people are coming back and saying, I successfully got through my first camping trip because I had these non-alcoholic beers with me. And I felt like I could go and I could sit around the fire and I could do what I would normally do because I'm not left out. Sobriety should not be like a punishment to go be alone, right? Sobriety is like this invitation to discover who you are and find all the other people who live like that too. And it's been so amazing, right? There's like sober people everywhere for so many different reasons. And they're all willing to tell me. They want to tell me. They want to tell me why they're not drinking. I've been really open about my story, and that gives other people this easy opportunity because they know my bottom, right? They know it. Everybody knows my bottom. They don't feel ashamed of sharing with me what happened, what they did, who they care about, what their last straw was, or why they're not drinking today, right? And there's plenty of people being like, I've never really thought about this, but I guess like my mom drinks a little bit too much. Like maybe I should drink less around my mom. Maybe I'll get something for my mom and I that's not non-alcoholic. Like all these people are just able to make choices that say to other people, I care about you. I love you. I see you. I know that you're coming to my party. Um, I don't know. I've always wanted to make a really big impact, and I've always wanted sobriety to be something attractive and approachable, not so like scary and like you have to make this like big I'm an alcoholic commitment to like learn about that lifestyle. You don't. You can just walk into my store. You can just walk around and look around and hang out with the people and buy something or don't come back, or you know what I mean? But like we're going to be there. And now groups of sober people are like, can we have a book club there? Can we do a meeting there? Can you do a mocktail class? Can we do this is how sober communities are born. And I really hope that Sober Social is so much bigger than a bottle shop. Like, I don't have a business plan, you guys. I didn't write one. My dad is like having a fucking heart attack. He's like, "Where's your business plan?" I'm like, "Oh, right here, Dad." He's like, um, but it's like I have passion, energy, commitment. Like I feel like I'm doing good. I'll find out in a year if I'm making any money, but like that's honestly very secondary to like creating something new, loving what I'm doing every day, meeting sober people, realizing that not just people aren't just getting sober because they have a problem or it didn't feel good. Like science is coming out and it's like drinking is really not good for you. So it's getting harder to ignore, right? The reality of what alcohol is and what it actually does to the inside of your physical body, regardless of who you are, how much you have, people are drinking less. And it's awesome. And so, my hope is that in 5 years from now, big alcohol is like big tobacco. And we're like, I can't believe we spent a decade glamorizing that for people, right? And like do something different. So I don't know how I got here. It was a very windy path. I did not ever think I would be like a sober, single, divorced mom of 4 with her own store and no business plan. But like, who knew?
Christy, you are so inspiring. Like, and your enthusiasm and your passion for the work you're doing and the alcohol-free industry and It just like oozes through the screen. I think everyone would probably agree. Who's live on the call with it. Like it's just amazing. And it makes me wanna, I noticed the time and I noticed that we're like just at the hour. But it makes me want to have you back again to share more and ask you more questions because I feel like we're only just like scratching the surface right now. But I just have one more question for you, which is if you had any advice. I know we have some people here that are in the early days of sobriety, maybe some people listening to the recording. Like, what advice would you give to someone who's like just starting out on that sober journey?
Um, I think probably like the most powerful tool I had in the beginning was my journal. I took it with me everywhere. I made a commitment to write down every single day. This is my day, whatever. This is my day 13. This is my day 14. And this is how I'm feeling. Today sucks. I'm really annoyed about everything in life. And I'm going to pick one thing to be grateful for and also put that on the page. Just one thing, right? Like I can't do all the things, right? It's like don't go try and like get healthy, stop eating sugar, go on a health journey, get sober. Don't do it all at the same time. But like put sobriety first, make a commitment that feels good to you, right? Like I had the journal every day. I also put an affirmation on a sticky note every day. I got this little app called I Am. It's like this little downloadable app, and it'll send you like these inspiring quotes. And I would write the inspiring quote and put it on my mirror. And so, like at 90 days sober, I had 90 post-it notes that say, I am confident, I am brave, I am smart, I am capable, I am all these things. Because when I looked in the mirror when I was first sober, I did not believe I was those things. I did not see those things, and I wanted to. And one of the biggest changes was as my sobriety continued, I was able to look myself in the eyes again in the mirror and like not really hate who I saw. But like journal, tell somebody that you love. You have to tell somebody, do not do this alone. It's no fun. You get to have sober friends and it makes it so much better. Um, I mean, I don't know, like I'm trying to think what else. In the beginning, like boredom was my biggest kryptonite. So, but like as soon as you're bored with yourself, take your journal. Just go be bored with your journal in nature for one whole hour with like no phone and no iPad and no music and just like go really put on the page how you are. Um find somebody that you look up to, right? That's sober. Know that if there's somebody who's ahead of you in their sobriety, they've been on your exact day. They've been in your exact day before. They've been day 14. I've been day 14. Day 14 is hard. Day 21 is better. Day 28 is better than that. Like it just keeps getting better. Keep making connections, like keep following all the sober Instagram accounts. Like I just tell people because there are other women just like you doing the exact same work in their house on a Sunday morning somewhere else, and you just haven't met them yet.
Love that. Wow, Christy, this was awesome. I definitely want to do a second call with you to just hear more and ask you more questions. I wish we had more time together, but hopefully you will be able to join us another time. And I want to share the links to your community and everything, Sober Social with our group. I know we do have a couple people in Wisconsin, definitely a lot in the States, and would just love to spread the word with everyone about the work you're doing because you're amazing. And yeah, I'm really proud of you and really proud to know you.
Oh, thank you so much. Like I've looked up to you for years. You just like were the original. I'm like, sober yoga girl, are you kidding me? This girl's awesome. Like you were out there doing it right before it was cool to do it, honestly, like, right? And I just, that takes so much guts. And I'm so grateful to people like you that have been out there and open and sharing and giving me like the runway to just go crazy.
Oh, oh, you're awesome. Thank you so much.